Quizzle, Pog, and new player Hater. From the guys I know, I mean, you're paying attention mainly to Hailfires and Nightmare on London to kind of pop off at Quizzle and Pog on the other side are your players to watch.
Definitely.
As right out of the gate, the dark matter that Snoop has.
And we're seeing an MP5 too. Snoop, he's gotten a lot better. You know, I remember he started in MW. He didn't really know what comp was, and you know, he's getting a lot better at the game. He's doing a good job right about now. He's subbing in for these Royales guys, and they're actually going to start off to a nice 20-point lead. Great shots from Snoop there to take down Pog. And London, despite having spawns right now, one of the players from Toronto, that's going to be MSA, has actually slipped into the back. So you're going to see Snoop start to spawn out there. If they want to make sure that they hold on to this P2 rotation, London's going to have to get back into the spawn and take out all those players.
Yeah, Nightmare was sort of aware that there was someone coming. He is going to get cleaned up from behind, though. He will go down as, oh, yep, there you go. Not muted, not muted audio. His Pog is going to be spawned in the back, so Toronto will have possession of P2 spawns here. And London is just kind of getting cleaned up in the middle of the map right now, so they can't get very close. Nightmare's going to be set up here. He's going to catch one fight. He's not actually going to pick that one up. Pog instead will win the gunfight. We'll get traded back out. But you can see here, we're going to have Toronto Falters set up on the point.
Yeah, and this is a really good setup right now by Toronto. They're watching all the right lanes, and they have one player sitting in the back of the spawn. It's going to be a Quizzle. He's going to be locking down these spawns. He's just throwing shoulders, making sure nobody gets to that ice area. They did have MSA up top, and they're just holding all the lanes that they need to hold. Had someone holding P1 in the hill, top cat in that ice lane. And really all that's happened now is for this last 20 seconds, that battle that included all sorts of 1v1s just went the way of London. Great gunfight wins by them in order to lock down this last 20, but Toronto gonna break in despite London still having these spawns.
The late hit coming in from Toronto is going to be MSA on the point. He's going to win one. He's not going to win the second. Pog is going to be here for a follow-up. But Toronto, I mean, they cleaned up the London players. They denied the last few seconds at tick time, and Toronto's already set up here on P3. So London, all 4 players hitting ice. Up right into the waiting guns as well. Right as I say that, though, Quizzle goes down. MSA will be up next. He picks up 1, doesn't pick up 2. And Toronto's been forced to spawn out.
And trades are going really well inside the hill right now, and it actually trades down to the 1v1 where Snoop's going to find 2. And so now they know that Toronto going to be spawning over by that crane area. And you're looking for players to hold some of these angles. Nightmare, he's looking for the cut off their rotation. But eventually, they managed to break through that big door side of the hill. Despite not having spawns, they are able to hold onto this for about 10 seconds before the next break going to come in. Hellfire's going to find 1. Trades are going to go down. And Nightmare going to be in a 1v2 for the hill. And Pog's going to find the next 2. And still manage to hold on to this last 10 as we prepare for this new hill rotation.
If we are going to have, I mean, you can see Toronto just cleaning up all the time in the hill right there. They're up to a 25-point lead here as we're getting ready for P4. This is usually a pretty contest-heavy hill, what we've seen recently, but you are going to see kills chiming in left, right. Toronto's going to hop on the hill, though, and they do have P2 side spawns. Let's see how long that lasts.
As you can see, London doing a very good job of playing both sides of the map. This hill, more so than any others, is all about cat control. If you can control cat, you can really control the movement of the other team throughout the map here. And they can basically just flip them back and forth and be able to spawn trap them whichever side they choose. And Snoop gonna be able to stay alive on the hill as rotations through for Toronto gonna come in. They want to go ahead and set up on that P2 side of the map. Great shots again from Snoop. As he's just holding down this hill all by himself, takes a nice challenge there, but does run out of ammo. And London, despite that hit from Toronto, are going to manage to hold onto these P2 spawns and look to set up towards this new P1.
Yeah, but you can see the Toronto players try to get into the back, but Jefferson's going to be there with 2. Find the 3rd, he'll get taken down. Actually, excuse me, he's still here. That was Hailfires that went down. I thought he was still on him. Flip the camera there. But it is going to be Toronto trying to navigate their way around. Snoop is going to take down 2 on the hard point, so London will take the lead. P1 is going to go a good amount of time in their favor here. As you can see, the players from Toronto trying to wrap back around. But they're relatively unsuccessful so far.
Yeah, and right now the slaying power between these teams is roughly even. As the lead slightly increases for London, so does the slaying capability of their team. But as soon as Toronto starts to slay a little bit back, you know, they get a couple more kills, that lead starts to diminish. These 2 teams are very balanced in terms of slaying power and in terms of game knowledge. Nobody's really rotating too terribly late, and they all seem to be making the right plays due to their knowledge. But
Snoop just ran out of bullets there. He had the 3-piece. It was right in front of him.
it was right in front of him, but he did manage to secure the P2 rotation.
Razor said that Nightmare is actually going to chime with a pair of kills. That's going to be absolutely massive. Hillfires finds a third, so one player from London spawned out. But then the team picked up all the necessary kills. They'll force Toronto out. And now they're going to start building up a lead of their own here as Nightmare is going to put more shots down range. But you can see Toronto is kind of hurting now in terms of having to come up back off respawn. But there you go, MSA in the hill. Nightmare's going to be in the back. Will get shut down. No streaks is the big kill from there as MSA picks up 2. Almost spins around for the third. Gemmacones is going to come in with 2 of his own. But that'll be Toronto with spawns now and a hill for the time being.
Yeah, and if you're London here, you kind of just want to back off, go ahead and set up for the new P3. Even if you manage to break into the hill, the spawns are likely going to stay in their favor. However, we do see a little bit of a split spawn here, so Toronto going to be on opposite sides of the map. And those spawns did not do many favors for London. If I believe that was Pog, if he gets that last kill there onto number 5, Snoop, I believe spawns would have completely flipped, but because of that, spawns are going to be in a weird spot. London's actually going to manage to hold on to the spawns for the time being as they manage to grab some time in the hill.
Yep, Noob came in with a big 2-piece there inside the hill to clean it up for Toronto for a little bit. But instead, London is going to repossess the hill. MSA's in the back trying to wreak havoc with spawns. He is spotted, actually. And he's going to pick that kill up on a Snoop. And that should force some spawn changes here. As that, there you go, Toronto will be spawning Rockside. As MSA is going to be sprint around the cover. But you got London now up to 40 points in the lead. As Toronto's working on this retake here.
Yeah, and if you're Toronto, you don't necessarily want to give that time up. You want to manage to hold on to this last 20 because it puts you in a really good spot going into this next rotation, starting with 4. But Nightmare shuts down Toronto's presence in the hill, manages to take it back over and grab that last 10 seconds of scrap time. So we're looking about a 45-point game here going into this next P4. And London right now have a decent amount of map control. They're just going to get on the hill and manage to hold on. Prevent Toronto from really getting any points off this.
Yep, I mean the timing there that Noob just got right as he stood up to get away from the cat there is at the moment a player arrived around the corner. Snoop's going to be all the way in the back, getting those spawns for P2. That is going to force Toronto to spawn out on the other side of the map. Snoop's going to find another. He's 29 and 17 right now. Doing an amazing job here. As he finds another as he just goes for 5. Fully streaked out.
Yeah, and those streaks could be massive here. If Toronto manages to make a good hold on the P1, it won't really matter because of those streaks that he has in the back pocket. So, by looking at some of the players, I do think streaks might actually end up being wrong, not set up correctly in the lobby. So that's going to be kind of unfortunate. But going into about an 80-point lead here for London, Toronto going to be set up on the new hill, so this is winnable for them. If they manage to hold a full 60 here, they can successfully rotate to P2 and they can win this game.
Yep, I mean, this is position. You look at the minimap right now, like London is a very exposed position as the Quizzle comes around the back, and there you go. He moves up just far enough for the spawns to flip around. I mean, he had just all of London in a straight line across the middle of the map. A Quizzle just goes just behind them, and then there you go, like instant spawn flips. So they just don't have someone anchoring in the back right there, and that kind of hurt them. Although I guess it doesn't matter when you start killing everybody. Yeah,
London making use of their solid slaying power. Right now, you look at the scoreboard, you got Snoop going 33 and 21, Nightmare going 28 and 22 now. They are pretty much just outslaying their way through this. This is a great effort on Toronto, despite not exactly winning all the gunfights. They're making it very competitive with their rotations.
Yep, definitely is. We are going to have Gemma who's going to be on the hill here. Quizzle's in a fight in the back, trying to find the player for spawns. It's going to go down. So Toronto now forced to come across the hill here. There's only 4 seconds left before London will take the map. As the players are going to flood in, they're all going to go down from Toronto, and that is going to be map 1. Going over to the London Royales.
Yeah, that was a very close game until about the last 3 hills. I think what really helped out London there was just in terms of raw slaying power. They had Snoop drop about 30, and so did Nightmare. And most of the players on Toronto just kind of hovered around 20 over that entire side of the map, and really kind of bully Toronto out if they can.
Yep. I mean, this is also it's a first round push where no one has any trophy systems. So I mean, if you're the attacking time, you just chuck nades towards Laundry. You might get lucky with a double nade or something, especially if the Twizzle gonna be up top. He is gonna go down for first blood. Nightmare will pick that up with long shots. The Nightmare will fight. Excuse me, that's Jamacone. We're not on board with Nightmare at all. As I got that completely wrong, but a great read there to pick up that second kill in bottom art.
Yeah, and that call-out's going to come through. They were going to know that that player was in Zig, and Jack Mahone is going to find that kill. And Pog going to be left in a 1v4, not even going to find one as the gunfight goes down between Kitchen and Zig. And like I said, London doing a really great job of pretty much bullying Toronto out of that ring side of the map and getting the bomb down super fast.
Yep, as Jamacone, I think, picked up 3 in the round here. He gets the last 2 kills, picking up Pog at long range. So the Krieg's coming alive from the London Royale side. And we're going to see how Toronto answer this with their offensive round.
Yeah, if you're Toronto here, you kind of just want to slow down. If that round indicates anything to you, you kind of want to just slow down a little bit and be more willing to rotate back and play your life. Early picks and flanks aren't going to work against this team.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a straight B rush, it looks like, coming out of Toronto. Snoop's got all the way into the back. The shots are going down. No one actually dies. Both players get away from that gunfight. As Quizzle's going to be here for support. As Jamacone is going to pick up first blood on MSA. And Quizzle's going to get terrible timing as Snoop comes around for the reach out. And Noob, unfortunately, reloads into the face of 2 players. And Pog once again in a 1v3. A little better than the last 1v4, but not that much better.
I mean, this is still winnable, especially now. Pog turns into a 1v2, and the bomb is pretty accessible. I highly doubt that due to bomb visibility, London knows that the bomb is down. So if Pog catches a timing here or makes a great play, this round can really go towards the way of Toronto here.
I mean, the 2 players from London are nowhere near each other as well. Although Pog might get shot in the back here.
He shakes his head, and the shots are going to come through. So Pog now knows the location of 1 player. But it looks like they are going to group up, making this a little bit more difficult. And Jack is going to find that kill.
Yep, 2-0. I mean, you had that. I think your moment of window there was when you had the 1 player inside of Kitchen, and Jamacone was over by Laundry. That was your one chance basically to get the 1v1. I mean, it's easy for us to say because we have X-ray vision and we know exactly where the players are. Where
oh yeah,
Pog has no idea where these guys are, and you just kind of run around the map hoping that he'll find a gunfight.
Yeah,
and those are your windows, right?
And props to Hellfire's there. He could have made a pretty bad play and just challenged Pog there, but instead he rotated back to his teammate, which allowed them to more securely close out that round.
Yep, and we're going to have another B hit here. It looks like Toronto is dedicated actually 2 players into mid and then 2 players towards B side as the bomb is already going down. Snoop rushed it immediately, got the bomb down, so we're in a 4v4 retake. Not something you see that often. As he just completely ignores MSA.
I think he trusted Nightmare to get that pick for him, and now all players from Toronto are going to be in middle, so Snoop's going to find one, but he is going to get traded, and Noob player hater going to find one in bottom art. So a 2v2 now. The location's pretty known, and Pog, he's going to hop it.
Nightmare didn't check it. Nightmare didn't see
him. Oh, Jack from art. Gonna find that kill, and at this point, Nightmare gonna re-challenge the bomb, and there's gonna be no time. Almost a heads-up play from Pog there, but Jack just 1 step ahead.
Yeah, but the bomb will detonate. That's gonna be a 3rd round over to the London Royales. As honestly, he had maybe 80% of that defuse, I think, before he went down.
Yeah, he was relatively close. However, I do want to point out that was a really important kill by Noob player hater there at the end of that round. He killed Jamacone off of streaks there. He was 1 kill off of streaks, and Noob player managed to get that kill, so there will be no streaks at the moment for London.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that he's aware of how big that kill was. I mean, we're very aware of how big that was. Snoop's just gonna go right down the throat. He is going to get sort of stuffed by a trophy there. He's going to reposition himself. Jamacone then first blood, though. Nightmare picking up second blood. Toronto just doesn't have an answer for the ARs right now on the London side.
I think what's happening here is I think that London is doing a really good job of adjusting to the adjustments that Toronto is making. You could see there that Toronto kind of played a little bit more passive. They kind of expected that rush-heavy style from London. And in that round, London decided we're not going to rush, we're not going to flank this time, we're going to sit and wait. And so then once eventually Toronto decided to peek, they managed to get up those clean kills, like right here.
Yeah, I mean, Jamacone's 8. I think he's 8-1 right now, possibly 9-1. He's having a great S&D right now. There you go, 8-1.
Yeah, the guy is popping off. Do you think we see an A hit here?
I think I want to see London do one to keep Toronto honest. It's very possible they do. Snoop's going right down the middle here. But
bomb.
because with the bomb, but they 4-manned the B bomb site the last 2 offensive rounds. As Nightmare will pick up first bullet again, as Pog will spot Snoop, and Jimacone picks up a second. That's going to be a free A plant now, as Snoop is going to rotate across the map in the 2v4. As there you go, bomb down. And a Quizzle and Pog with everything to do in front of them.
Yeah, Quizzle gonna manage to find Hailfires there, so with 30 seconds roughly on the clock in order to kill all the players and get the defuse, that gunfight between Pog and Snoop is gonna be really critical. You almost have to chase that challenge at this point if you want to make it into a 2v2 and still have time, but Snoop, with a nice little read there, knows the player's gonna be cut out, manages to get that kill, and leaves a Quizzle in a 1v3.
Yep, I mean, he's out of time now. Not going to pick this one up. He might be able to kill off Nightmares here. As Nightmares does not get away. But Jamacone 9-1. As Snoop will get challenged out. The gunfight goes down. And London with up 5-0.
Yeah, Jimacone doing a really good job of basically just being in the right place at the right time. He's getting most of the kills he's gotten is in the early round. He clearly knows the timings, what he can and can't challenge, so really good job by him to kind of stay on top of that.
I mean, he's I think he's 4 out of the 5 first bloods. I think Nightmare has 1, and all the rest go to Jamacone.
Well, now, if you're Toronto, this is the last you've got. You've got to win this round in the next 5 if you want to manage to win this S&D. As Snoop's going to pick up 1, he's going to pick up a second. Jimacone is going to find 1, and Pog again. It seems like this man's get left alone every single time, as he does manage to find Snoop, so unless the trade comes through fairly soon, which it does, I was going to say he might have a chance here, but being one shot, it's only going to take a couple bullets. And that's going to close out that game. A 6-0 sweep for London there, a very dominant performance overall.
There you go. I mean, we are in. It's going to be Toronto on the attack. So here we go. Like, you need a big round out of Toronto here to come back out of that absolute clapping, I guess, that we just saw on the Raid S&D. So we're going to see if they've got anything up their sleeve to start this one off. And it does look going to look like London will have plane control out of the gate. Toronto didn't actually put any players in any play.
As MSA going to find the first blood, and that plane control going to come in handy for London. Nightmare with a good 2 kills, and they just use that plane control to just kind of rotate, get the players off A, and now you can already start to see the formations of the spawn trap.
Yep, I mean, you can see a very, like, all the players from London are dedicated over here towards A. There's going to be 1 player here. It's going to be Nightmare on B. Already 3-0 to start this one off. He's looking for a 4th. Is going to find it. And he just
that
went,
timing.
Wait.
Yeah, that timing.
That
Quizzle was on the steps. He was on the steps. He hopped off, and now they're chasing, and Quizzle finally gets the kill after the ringer on the Rosie. But players going to be spawning up again very deep. And the trades are going to come through for London to maintain control of that A site. So now both teams in a scramble to get this map control back under the belt.
Yeah, but Quizzle is going to be pushed up, so they're going to get rid of the early spawn kills here. But Jemacone has the MP5 out, actually. Quizzle on 4-0 right now to start this one off. Plane control is going to go in Toronto's favor, so it's really just going to be him versus the players coming A Street. He's not going to win that gunfight. Snoop will pop his head off. Nightmare will get dropped on the wing. So it's kind of like a reset right now in terms of map control. Actually, MSA is on B with the solo cap right now, halting the time. Is Snoop running a FAR? Is that a FAR?
He is running a FAR. And oh no, Hailfires. He stopped shooting, you could tell. He almost had that kill onto MSA, but he just stopped shooting, so MSA has managed to turn around and get that kill. Good shots there out of MSA, and however, as they get all those kills off, they're going to be spawning in that back blue area, and Snoop is just living in the spawn right now. Just grabbing 2 pieces, and now they're going to spawn in that back orange area. And Snoop is just going to juggle these spawns back and forth. He's going to trust He's gonna trust his team to get any kills that manage to leak through, but other than that, Snoop's just gonna be pretty much just jiggling these spawn points as he finds 3.
Oh my. All right, Snoop. Actually, absolutely popping off with the FAR. I didn't know the FAR buff came in yet. But apparently it did in his hands as he just pops basically the entire Toronto team here.
Yeah, this was just a great play, great reads. As I believe going into this last round, into this next round, we're looking at an 11 life lead for London. So if you're on the defensive side here as Toronto, you got to focus on getting your kills, getting that spawn trap in, and basically pulling a Snoop right back onto Snoop.
Yeah, you definitely need to. Yeah, I mean, if you're Toronto, you need to spawn trap, and you need to spawn trap hard, because again, like 11 lives down already, and given the slaying power that they have, you're looking at the next defensive round, that might be another 11 kill advantage, right? As MSA as well, they're not going to start off too hot, trades are going to go back and forth, it will be London with a 1 life advantage. As Nightmare's going to hop the point.
Yeah, and you could see from the spawns right there for London, you know, Toronto didn't have as much plane control, they weren't pushed up that far. And so London are actually spawning in that middle, like, tube area. They aren't spawning very deep. But now that Toronto's kind of making their way up on the map, kind of pushing up onto the left side, you can see London starts to spawn a little bit farther. But again, it looks like London has all the control right now.
Yeah, I mean, you have the power position there. They had plane, and they had 2 players inside the hill. As 8 is going to go through. The cap will go through. A Quizzle picking up 1 on the tail end of that. But that is going to be an extra minute of time on the clock. London only with 1 life lead. It's now going to be dead even here as we're turning our attention towards B. And this is where Toronto needs to go big.
Yeah, and if you're Toronto, you can't really look at you giving up A that early as a bad thing. You just have to look at it as the opportunity to get more kills. Like, new player hater, gonna find a 2-piece. Use this more time, use this extra minute to find more kills, rack up that life count, and get back to even with these guys.
Yep, absolutely. Zaquizzle's going to chime in. So Toronto holding their own so far as they've kept the life count quite even here. Jamico's going to come around the edge, but 3 go down from London, and this is where you need to push up. This is where you're establishing your map presence. Everyone is down on the London side. But it does look like they're pretty content to just possess the plane here. MSA is going to be the 1 player pushed up.
He's eventually going to drop. So London, with that kill, are going to look to break into this setup as Jack going to be in an intense gunfight, going to eventually find Pog inside the plane. A Quizzle going to make a virtual trade onto Nightmare as Snoop's going to trade out new player Hater. And in the battle in plane, MSA is going to win it. He's going to establish the dominance in the plane, but London being able to break through the spawns. Hailfire is going to find 1, 2 more in planes, 2v2 inside the plane. London going to win it. They have full control here. And now they're just looking to get these kills, continue racking up that life advantage, and stacking the B point.
The Quizzle was on a 6 spree, I believe, but did get shut down just before streaks. London will pick up a tick and a B. They have 2 players on it right now, as they're going to sort of hop off. You're going to have the flank coming in from behind. That's going to be new player Hater picking up 1 before getting dropped. The trade will be there, but there's 2 players from London on B, and it is going fast. All of Toronto coming up off of spawn, but the players from London are in really good cutoff positions. And Toronto, no lives left, and the cap comes through, so London will go up 2-0.
Yeah, and right there, Toronto did a really good job of managing to hang with the London in terms of life count. It was actually a 3 versus 6 there at the end before the cap finally came through. So it is a 14 life advantage over towards London. But if you're Toronto, you know, you really can't complain too much about that close round. You know, you lost some lives to the London there, but at the end of the day, if you can have a good offense round here, pair that with a really strong defense round, you can set yourself up really nice for round 5.
Yep, but I mean, the key part first is you got to get through the offensive round here before you get to that defensive push. So we're going to see what they do off of the break here. It's going to look like 4-man spread into the mid area. 1 player's going to hop up to watch the backside, and the rest are going to enter the plane. So right out of the gate, it's a 2v2 inside the plane.
Hog gonna be basically throwing flashes for info. He's gonna find 1, so it is a 1v1 in the plane. Snoop, however, pushed up a little bit as players come off spawn now. This is going to be a key gunfight between Hailfires and Pog. This basically determines the plane control, and Pog is going to win it, but Nightmare already back on the plane. Gonna get some shots in, but a Quizzle covering his teammates. Snoop is gonna pick up that trade as a new player has managed to sneak his way onto the A site. But Jimacone already in the spawn of Toronto, looking to wreak havoc once again. Pog has this plane control, but it's not gonna matter much if his teammates can't get out of spawn.
Yeah, but he is going to get found by Snoop. Snoop will bring him down as Toronto is going to find Jemicone in the back. They're going to pick up 2 kills. So there's some of your early map presence. Snoop at range is going to find another. And he's going to be trying to just throw himself out of the plane exit as a fast exit there.
And if we want to talk about playmakers here for London right now, just look at Snoop. 19 and 9. The guy's not dying a lot. He's picking up lives for London right now. And as we enter pretty much the end stretch of this round, unless Toronto can make something happen, you really want to see Toronto
only
bust
down
through.
by 2.
This isn't a bad performance at all for being on an offense.
Yep, the only problem is they've got nowhere near the points. You're going to have 1 player. I believe that was MSA just finally snuck inside. So he's going to halt the clock with 10 seconds to go. As a Quizzle will pick up 1 in the back. The players are just everywhere in the backside here. Quizzle's looking for Hailfires, will finally pick him up. Quizzle's going to come street side. Snoop will get taken down as well. A Quizzle will hop inside the point. That's going to be progress for Toronto here. 7 seconds to go, but it does look like a Quizzle will get dropped. And I don't know if these guys are going to get inside. They will. Nightmare's going to be here. He's going to find 1.
Pog finds 3. So Snoop's going to hop in.
Again. It's going to be Snoop, but Pog will pick up another. Pre-firing for a 5th. He's looking for it. 4 seconds on the clock.
A huge kill from Pog there as they are going to manage to close out of that A point, and lives are even now. A 9 versus 9. You have a minute on the clock. At this point, you need to slow down if you are Toronto. You want to play for your kills. You want to play like a rat. Expect these London guys to push up, get really aggressive, and Pog with the streak. That might be the opening that they need. MSA going to be in the spawn now. I think Jack might have seen him. No, he didn't. So MSA gonna have a flank here onto Hellfires. And this really could be the difference right now if he manages to find anything else.
Well, Nightmare is gonna clean him up. Snoop will pick up 1. Nightmare finds 2. Those are huge kills there as it's gonna be 1 life advantage. Pog's gonna pull out the artillery because there's no point carrying it in the next round if there's no round to take it to. Gonna find Snoop here. Toronto, no lives left. London's got 1 extra life on the board. Nightmare with another big 2-piece.
Quizzle finds 1 though, so this is a 2v4. With 14 left, it's gonna be hard to do, but they managed to find 1. If they can find this kill here on the Hellfires, it's a 2v2 now. They're on the point. They have the time stopped. Now, if you're London,
there, you know where the players are. Nightmare's gonna be caught in the open. Doesn't go down. Snoop is gonna slide in, pick up 1, gets traded out. 1v1 Noob versus Nightmare here. As Nightmare's gonna challenge, he's gonna win it.
And Nightmare, really the playmaker there at the end for London. The guy made all the right plays. He picked up the right kills. You know, when Hellfires got taken down in backwood to MSA, he flicked around. He landed some great shots. When he needed to go huge, he went huge. I guarantee you that round would have been lost without Nightmare.